After taking on Lucian, make sure your Pokemon are fully healed and you're ready to go, because this is the final fight. Fight against the champion, Cynthia! Yep, that's right, it's her. You might have already known that or guessed that, but it's still pretty cool. I like how in Platinum she's more of a friend, so it's actually kind of cool. You get to fight, you know, your friend in the champion fight, you know? I don't know, it hasn't really been like that in any of the past fights. I like that. Cynthia got a lot cooler in this game. Plus that intro to the fight was just awesome. It's so dramatic, and I love the background of this. Just look at it. They really did a very good job on improving the Elite Four and the champion. One thing though, her Pokemon are at a lower level than they were in Diamond and Pearl. For instance, the Spiritom's only level 58, so it should be a little bit easier for you to take out, but you still want to be careful. Let's see, I did get pretty lucky that Crunch lowered its defense, so maybe I'll get lucky with Earthquake. I was originally going to just go ahead and use a bunch of like X items to start buffing up my Torterra here, but I'm gonna go for it right now just because I'm not sure I'll be able to do it just with Torterra, and that Silver Wind is going to really be hurting me more than I would like. I don't know. Okay, so Togekiss. That's a new addition to her team. She did not have that in Diamond and Pearl, quite obviously. But it's a pretty powerful addition, too. Gotta be very careful for it. I know I say that all too often, but it can hit harder than you'd think. It's a normal flying type, so something like Thunderbolt would do great against it. But it has a lot of defense, so it might not knock it out. That only did about half of its hit points. Not very good. Not very impressive at all. Now, Air Slash, that does a ton of damage. That critical hit was not very nice at all. But you gotta watch out for that, because remember, Air Slash does have a high critical hit rate. So I guess, you know, it happens. Still pretty unlucky for me, if you ask me. Oh well. Hopefully I'll be able to revive Kershaka later on in the fight. That's something very important. You need to know when to revive your Pokemon and what Pokemon to revive. That's why I recommended buying a bunch of revives early on. Ah, Shockwave, that's not good. Aquila is not going to like this at all. Man, that did a lot of damage. Now, I know that Cynthia is going to be using a full restore this turn. It's very important, so what you do on this turn, if you're in a situation like this, is really important. For instance, right now I'm using that revive on Kershaka, just to make sure that Kershaka is ready to go. It might not be the wisest move, and I'm probably going to have to sacrifice Aquila here in order to take out this Togekiss. But I think in the long run, it'll serve me better than, you know, just trying to heal Aquila. Because I'm not sure if Aquila will be able to take this Togekiss out. But it is a bit of a predicament. Cynthia will have some high-level Pokemon, regardless of if you're using, you know, a 3-party team like mine, or if you're using like a 5- or 6-party team too. She will still probably have the level advantage over you. Now right here, I'm just going to let Cynthia knock out Aquila. I just understand that's how it has to be. It's probably my best option, because otherwise Togekiss will knock out one of my HM Pokemon if I switch to that. So I'll just have to revive Aquila later on in the fight, because I'm pretty sure that Kershaka will be able to knock out Togekiss with this, which is good. And Kershaka should be a little bit more useful in the upcoming Pokemon. The one I'm particularly worried about is Cynthia's Garchomp, because it's very fast and it has a lot of power behind its moves. Okay, so she's going to be sending out her Lucario right now. So I'm going to switch to Maryland, since I happen to know that Maryland has a lot of defense and can probably take Lucario's hits. Plus, Lucario is weak to ground-type attacks, so I'm hoping to hit it with a nice, strong Earthquake. Now, Aura Sphere is actually a special-based move, so I didn't get to use Maryland, my Torterra's good defense against it, but oh well, it didn't really do that much anyway. It's a fighting type move, so make sure you keep your normal types away from it, or anything that's weak to fighting. Okay, looks like Earthquake did the trick, that's for sure. Certainly took that Lucario out, although it left Maryland a little bit weakened. Now she's going to send out her Milotic, and that thing is annoying. It has Mirror Coat, which you need to be very careful with. And it also has Surf and Ice Beam. That's part of the reason I switched out Maryland, simply because I know that Milotic has Ice Beam, and it will do a lot of damage. Now this is actually not very smart of me using Thunderbolt, because Milotic, like I said, has Mirror Coat. And if I didn't knock it out, which I didn't! Look at that! It has like 1 hit point left. It looked so close to being knocked out. Oh, so close. That was really a big mistake on my part, but I wanted to sort of size up Milotic, really. Because thankfully, if you have a Pokemon like Azelf, you can set up on Milotic fairly well. In fact, I'm probably going to do that to help ensure victory for the rest of the fight. And I'll show you in a second. I'm going to start off by reviving Kershaker, my Azelf. And she's going to use a full restore. I knew that she was going to do that. At least I was pretty sure she was going to do that. She usually uses like 2 or 3, I think. At least 2, I guess. I don't know about that 3. But I'm going to take that opportunity to heal up my own Pokemon. I'm not 100% sure if I healed Azelf or if I revived Aquila there. I'm not 100% sure. I know I did one of those things. So we'll probably find out before too long. Remember, if you're using a HM Pokemon, then you can use those as sort of like sacrifices for a little bit to buy time, because that's really important, being able to buy time. If you want, you can even bring something like your Giratina. Even if you don't use it, it's really good for buying time because it has a lot of hit points. Ow, that Ice Beam. Woo! Maryland, my Torterra is done. One thing really important to consider is you want to make sure you're not switching a Pokemon. Like if you're reviving something, you want to wait until something gets knocked out, because otherwise it's going to take a hit when you switch in for it. I know it might look like this Milotic is just, you know, destroying me, but really it's not. Really, I'm just trying to get all my Pokemon ready and healed up, because that's all I should need. I'm pretty sure on that. Surf and Ice Beam are Milotic's only attacking moves, other than perhaps Mirror Coat, so it's somewhat predictable in that sense. You just want to make sure you don't get frozen by Ice Beam, but you should use a full restore if that happens anyway. Okay, Kershaker's out here. I'm going to start off with Nasty Plot. In retrospect, it would have been a lot better if I used an X Special Defend against it. See, it used Mirror Coat. Now I need to make sure I get Nasty Plotted enough to one-hit KO that thing. It needs to be knocked out in 1 hit. If it doesn't, it could Mirror Coat me, and that would be bad. Now that hit really hard with Surf, so that's not good. I'm almost positive I'll be able to take it out in 1 hit though, so I'm not going to worry about using the X items right now. I guess I was thinking I'd use them more than I did, but oh well. It all worked out. Okay, so that thing's knocked out, which is good. A lot of people sometimes have trouble with that Milotic. A lot of people also have trouble with her Garchomp. It's level 62, which is down from what it was in Diamond and Pearl, but it's still a beast to take out. And it has very powerful Dragon-type moves, and it can do a ton of damage really fast. I recommend using a ton of buff moves like Nasty Plot to make sure you can take it out in 1 hit before it does the same to you. It's very fast. So if you're not using a fast Pokemon, I recommend using a few X speeds before it comes out, just to make sure you can handle it. It's ground Dragon type, so Ice types are great against it. Alright, she has a Roserade here, which I will take out with Psychic. And I believe that is it. So, woohoo! Hopefully you didn't have as much trouble, or hopefully you didn't have any trouble with her at all. I did pretty good in this fight, I think, but hopefully you can do pretty good too. Remember, X items, if you're having problems, use those. They're great. Now I'm going to speed this up just because it's basically the same as in Diamond and Pearl, except looks a little cooler, I guess. Going into a real champion. Please join us, Professor Rowan. Woo, so we're back here. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Yay! Hall of Fame time. Woohoo! Awesome. Hopefully, you'll be able to see this scene with all your Pokemon after beating Cynthia and the Elite Four. If you're having any troubles, make sure you level up your Pokemon. You can use X items to give you an edge in the fight, and you know, just keep at it. Keep at it. You can do it. You can do it. Anyway, be sure to check out my website, Pokemon.Maryland.com, and my YouTube channel, YouTube.com/Maryland. And I will be sure to cover plenty of extra post-game stuff after you beat the Elite Four and get the National Belts. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you had a good time and hope you look forward to the new videos.